Okay, so I'm just going to get on with modeling this book in Blender. So just from the default cube, I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode, A to select all the vertices if they're not already selected, and then go over here and choose Scale, and just scale all the vertices in the model into the desired shape that you want. Okay, so for your book. So you can refer to reference if you want to get the shape to match a particular reference image that you've got. I'm just going to do it fairly roughly because, as I sort of explained in the previous video, the goal of this project is just to get through the pipeline rather than to make like an amazing model. Okay, so we're just going to be doing it fairly quickly and fairly roughly. So I'm just going to go just check which direction is the front view. So this is the front view. So I'm going to have the pages on this side and the spine of the book over here. So I'm going to hit 2 to go into edge selection mode, or hit the button up here. Okay, I'll left click on this particular edge here. I'll turn off the scale tool by going up here to the selection mode, just to get it out of the way. Shift click to choose this bottom edge here. So basically I'm clicking this edge, shift clicking to get that bottom edge. Control B to bevel, Control and then B. Move the mouse, scroll the mouse wheel to get a bit of a bevel. So just adjust the number of segments with the mouse wheel and move your mouse until you're happy with the shape. Okay, actually you're probably a bit rounder than I want. I'm just going to undo that, Control B, maybe something like that. Next thing I'm going to do is going to go to face selection mode, so the 3 key on the keyboard, or this button up here. Choose this face, shift click to choose that face, shift click. Okay, I'm going to use I for inset, and then just inset a little bit to create the shape, the thickness of the cover. If you hold down the shift key when you're moving your mouse, it'll give you a bit more control. So something like that. Left click to finish. Okay, probably a little bit thick, but anyway, that'll do. I'll hit I to inset again, but this time I'm going to move the mouse. So I've hit I and now I'm moving the mouse, and I'll move it all the way to the right so that it's not actually scaling in at all. Then I'll hold down Control and move the mouse to the left a bit, just to extrude in a little bit like so. Then left click to finish. Okay, so I basically made the shape there. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to actually separate that selection from the rest of the model. Okay, so you could do it as a separate object. I'm just going to basically separate off the edges. So I'm going to go up here to mesh, and then where is it? Split. Okay, you can see the shortcut there is Y. I'm going to go split, and now if I actually move that, and I'll right click to leave it where it is, we've basically separated that off. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to do that, but it does make a few selecting things later on a little bit easier. You could also leave that attached if you want to, but I just think it makes it a bit easier. All right, next thing I want to do is give a bit of shape down here to the front of the pages here. So I'm going to go to edge mode with 2, like so. Choose one of these edges, Control R, and then left click, and then right click to leave that centered. Okay, I'll move this in a little bit, and then Control B to bevel, move the mouse, scroll the mouse wheel to get the number of edges that I want, then left click to finish. That just gives us a bit of a shape at the front there, and that's pretty much the model. Okay, last thing I need to do, if I hit Tab to go into object mode, is you can kind of see that we've got very sharp edges everywhere, which isn't really a good look. And if I right click and choose shade smooth, we've got a bit more of a curve here, or the illusion, but everything looks very soft and it's not really working for us. So what we're going to do is add a modifier. So you could potentially go in and manually bevel edges. Okay, the problem with that is that's destructive modeling, and it makes it harder to edit later on. Okay, or to make adjustments, you've got to go in and manually adjust all of your edges. So what we're going to use instead is a modifier. So I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to go up here to the overlays and turn on the wireframe just so we can see what we're doing. Then I'm going to go to my modifiers here, add modifier, bevel. If you're going to use bevel all the time, you can right click and add it to your quick favorites. But I'll just add it in here, through here for now. And that adds a bevel modifier. And if I zoom in, you can see we've got a bit of a mess. Okay, so we need to adjust the settings for it, which are over here, until we get what we are after. So first thing is, I want to use Shift and to give me a bit of a finer adjustment of this, and then left click and drag in the offset just to get a smaller bevel, a smaller offset there. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I don't want to bevel everywhere. You can see here we've got bevels, you know, on all these edges, and we've also, if I adjust it, you can see we're kind of beveling across all these edges on the spine as well. So I don't want to do that. So down here where it says limit method, okay, I can limit the bevel by angle. So if I choose angle, and then I can adjust this angle, and basically I want to adjust that. Basically the bevels will only be applied to any angles above this number of degrees, right? So if I reduce that again to 0, then the bevel is as we had it on everything. If I increase that, okay, then it'll only be on fairly acute angles. Okay, so something like that is fine. Now I want to, at the moment, if I increase the segments here, for example, okay, that's basically going to adjust how dense the bevel is, all the edges around here. So I actually I want to just have 2 edges in that. Okay, 2 segments, sorry. And at the moment, that actual bevel is affecting the overall silhouette of the edge of our model, which does look a little bit better. But to make it a bit easier to UV unwrap, I actually don't want to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get this profile value and put that all the way to 1. Okay, which basically leaves the actual shape exactly the way that it is. But if I adjust the offset, okay, so but basically what it does is it gives us these supporting edges around all of the hard edges. Okay, so now if I turn off the wireframe, okay, you can see that that gives us the illusion of these kind of softer edges. Okay, so if I go in, if I go up here to my matte caps, okay, and I choose a shinier matte cap, that will sort of show the result a little bit better. Okay, maybe if I choose a really shiny one like this chrome looking thing down here, so you can see that now we've got some edges there to give the illusion and catch some light. Okay, so that just makes things look a lot more solid. Okay, and it doesn't really add a whole lot of extra geometry. I'll just take that back to something a bit flatter. But yeah, okay, so that's basically is our model. Okay, so far so good. So we'll move on to unwrapping in the next video. Cheers.